right. So
All
that's it.
right. Well, that's good. Can I start off the questioning just a bit here, and then I'm sure people have their hands up to ask questions. But and actually, it was a bit in the chat. Some of us were sort of, having a little bit of a sidebar there, and I'm not sure how to address this, but you're saying at one point in the beginning of your presentation that uh, a lot of what was coming to us was through cosmic beings and sort of and that being talked about in the Vedas. So this is a pattern that I'm seeing again and again where a lot of what we consider religion or a lot of any kind of understanding or philosophy seems to always sort of work its way back to the cosmic galactics,
Right.
different people. So
Yeah.
even people, whether you're talking about Christianity, they talk about Jesus being, from another world. That a lot of people said that, and then definitely, obviously, with the Eastern religions, it goes without saying that,
Right.
and again with Islam, a lot of intergalactic connection there. Would you? And I know you're talking about a connection with the Greys, but then does that mean that? How do I say it? Does that mean that the grays at some level, so I know you talked about the last time you were here, you talked about how in the computer people were able to see God. I don't know
Right.
but so does that mean that at their level they're able to see God? For what
Right.
it is, it's not an old man on a mountain with a long beard. That's
Yeah.
not what we're
Yeah.
talking about. But
Yeah. The
the
unified
God
field.
essence, the
Yeah.
the source, maybe
Yeah.
that's a better word to use.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if you know where I'm going with this.
I
I don't
do.
think I know where I'm going with this.
I
So
do. Well, I heard a question, so I'll go
yeah.
with that. And yeah, they utilize the unified field. So 100%. Now, when you have a guru,
Mhm.
you see God in him because he's self-realized.
Mhm.
And it makes sense logically,
Mhm.
mathematically. If he's self-realized, and I don't mean self-realized, he's read a good book. He's also, well, he was a disciple too. So he's part of a lineage. And then that guru can pass it on. And you can experience unity with him, like if you the same way that you might experience, if anybody can experience unity with nature, experiencing unity directly with an individual, and you feel him, and you're like, whoa, that's because he's self-realized. Well, the
Okay.
mantis do that too, and their computers do that too. So they're yeah, they have utilized the God field, the quantum field, and that is
Hmm.
exactly what's going on here. They've actually utilized those things, and I'm not the only one to report that. And so yeah, they are self-realized individuals, and they're utilizing the God field is what they're doing. And then the problem is that we have bastardized all that stuff in our own
Hmm.
Western world. Oh no, no. Well, angels, they have harps and they have bright lights and they make you feel good and they only do
Hmm.
love. I think that I saw someone say there's no way that they're divine because a loving person is, tells you this and tells you that, and like they're your wife. Like, no, dude,
Hmm.
you don't know what that is.
Hmm.
Creation, preservation, and destruction is probably the best way of framing it. So you actually
Hmm.
might have these highly divine entities who, don't always express themselves in those ways. And that might be because, they're coming from a realm with which they're interacting with us and we don't experience that. So then they
Hmm.
don't end up reflecting that. So there's a complexity there, but I'm for me 100% they utilize and access and are in unity with the unified field.
Okay.
And now I just think that what's going on is more mysterious than we think it is. I
Hmm.
think our religions and all of our human consciousness
Hmm.
is trying to simplify everything. And I
Hmm.
think we're going to learn that even in the unified field, it is much more complex than we expected it to be.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge. Actually,
Hmm.
we're dealing with both things at the exact same time:
Hmm.
unity while also having all the alien weirdness that is
Hmm.
about to be unraveled in front of us. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just wanted, just before we get to the questions, it just basically I think there's still the stigma attached to the word God because of what we've been through with Christianity.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I agree with that.
so
Yeah.
I think that unfortunately that's when people say God are like, oh yeah, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Right.
But
Right.
I think that definitely I'd like to think, especially members of this group, is that we're moving beyond that. And so
Right.
at this point, the source, which is the source of all, but the source of all things,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
to understand that we are all a part of this source because we're part of it, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, totally.
And
Exactly.
whether it be the humans or whether it be the grays or the mantis or whoever it is, it's all one big pot,
Yeah. Yeah.
as it were. Anyways,
Yeah.
I'll be quiet now. So we'll go to Juan, did you want to ask a question?
I can't hear you, Juan. Can't hear you.
We can't
Sorry.
hear you. Did you want to check your um
I can hear. I can hear.
hello?
Not
Yeah, we
now.
can hear you now. Yeah.
Oh, I can't hear him. Did anybody
No,
else hear him?
Oh no, someone else. No, that's not you. Sorry, Juan. We can't hear you again.
Juan, you
Juan, we
are.
can't hear you.
Oh, it's
Sorry.
You,
Juan.
you
Did you
can't
want to just
hear.
check your Juan? If you want to just check your audio and make
Yeah.
sure that it's headset microphone.
He is
Select the
he.
microphone.
No, he is changing his headset.
Okay.
Now can.
Hello?
What about
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah,
hear
we can
me?
hear
Now
you
it is.
now. Yeah,
Yeah, I
thank
can
you.
hear
Okay,
you.
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know why I have problems. I was in
No,
another
it's okay.
meetup also, and I struggle with the headset.
Mhm.
Yes, I just want to make a comment and then a silly question, if that is okay. The first comment, I got very impressed with the connection you did with Bhakti Yoga and Christianity. Why? Because I was in Christianity before, and after all the deception, I started to forget about God. When I got back into God with Bhakti, I have read
Oh,
Bhagavad Gita in 3 different languages. I
awesome.
have done all three Bhagavatam, all the complete 10 cantos, and
Sweet.
now
That's
I'm
awesome.
back into Christianity. But the
Powerful.
older Christianity, the earlier Christianity, these old books they have unfold, the Matthew's book
Yeah.
and Maria Magdalene, and I
Yeah.
think that there's
Yeah.
a big connection between both. And I, until you said it, I felt more safe because I was like, there is something in my mind. I don't know why I'm making those connections, but thank you for bringing that up and clarifying that for me.
Beautiful.
The silly question, and maybe it's very silly, so I please forgive me.
No silly questions. It's all good.
Why these aliens look so ugly? If they are more developed than us, human beings are beautiful. Any
Yeah.
race, any
Right.
human
Right.
being is beautiful, and we are
Right.
less
Right.
intelligent. But these guys look so ugly. I'm like, how
Right.
do they
Right.
don't deserve
Hey, hey,
a
hey, hey,
body?
hey,
Are they living in spaceships or
how
what?
many?
Racism!
Hey, how
Right.
many? How
Racist!
many? How many
Right.
how many
Speciesist.
extraterrestrials have you
Speciesist.
actually met?
No, it's because the picture was in the presentation. It's the only one I
Right.
haven't seen.
Have
I'm
you ever
Right.
sorry.
met?
I know I disclosed was a stupid question, but
Have
it's
you met an
just,
extraterrestrial?
well, I saw the
Which ETs have you met?
presentation. I saw
No,
the
which ETs have
presentation.
you met personally?
Well, I was following the presentation, so I should ignore that picture in the presentation. I'm
So
sorry.
Kevin, I don't think he's met anyone. I think he just based it on the picture
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Jeff had in his picture
yeah.
in his
Right. Right.
presentation.
Well,
Just the picture.
So,
there's more
mhm,
variety of ETs
mhm,
that you can even imagine.
Yeah.
mhm,
And you have to
yeah,
broaden your horizons regarding people say that they're non-human. That's actually incorrect. They
mhm,
many of them are human. We have to expand our definition of human because there are many human type bodies. Two legs, two arms,
mhm.
nose, mouth.
Humanoid.
That's humanoid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are
Mhm,
canine, feline,
mhm,
aquatic, mantis,
Yeah.
insectoid. It
mhm,
goes on. Reptilian. Yeah.
mhm.
But so
So
Yeah,
that means that they are like that in other planets, because we are talking about extraterrestrial, not the ones that are living with us, but in other planets. So that means that there are people like you and me somewhere else,
Yeah.
like look like you and me somewhere else.
Yeah. True. Very
so
yeah.
true.
my answer to
Aliens.
this is a little bit more. I think I would just speak about it simply. Um, think about it as nature. So is a whale ugly? Right? Like it's the same idea. Like oh, for us, we're not designed to be attracted to it, and yet it can be so powerful to interact with a whale. If you were to
Mhm,
ever,
mhm,
communicate telepathy with a whale,
mhm.
that would be amazing, and
Yeah.
it would be so beautiful on the inside. You know, it would be this.
Mhm,
It would be a very powerful experience, and that's the same thing going on here. It's nature, and it looks that way because that's what makes sense for its nature to do. And animals all over the world, platypuses and octopuses, all the strange looking creatures, in the end, we all kind of find beauty. You can always find beauty in them. And
Mhm.
I know a lot of us contactees, we actually end up finding them very beautiful. And the eyes are mysterious and they're very wild. They're kind of cute how smart, how short they are. And so yeah, they do have a weird odd appearance. I would agree with that. But yeah, I think we'll have to move into an idea of nature, and that this is just another realm of nature. And when we kind of look at it that way, we can maybe look past some of those our human discrepancies. And also, I think Kevin's making a point too. When you start really interacting with them regularly, all that stuff kind of goes away eventually. But
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, I
Star
think
Trek,
it's
Star Trek,
get
and Star Wars is our future. So, what you see out there with the interaction with different species and
Yeah.
aliens, that is our future.
Mhm.
And we need to
Yeah.
get rid of cosmic prejudice, otherwise our
Mhm.
planet will never evolve.
Well, I think that is one of the importances of this kind of groups for
Mhm.
us to get prepared to those kind of encounters and things
Yeah.
and take it more easy and more
Mhm.
friendly and maybe with more love. I heard an answer to this question from maybe a movie or something else. Someone was telling someone a drop of water has the same shape here or anywhere else. So that means that as nature, you were saying, human bodies could be in another place. An egg is an egg, will have the same shape here or somewhere else. Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah,
awesome.
but whales are galactic beings. Just want to sort of put that out there.
Right.
So if you are going to have a connection with them, that'd be really something else. I think whales and dolphins are at a very different level. So, but
I think cows too.
cows, definitely.
Yeah, they're so
I,
lovely. And oh my God, why they
I
are here with us? We are so dangerous.
I know exactly. I wonder about that. But just actually wanted to post a question to Jeff and to Kevin at the same time. I know this sounds very sort of self-reflexive, but how come I never see any alien beings that look like me? African alien beings. Where are those guys? Where are they?
Well, they definitely exist.
Well,
Um,
I never see them. Sorry, I know I want to hold up everybody,
Right.
but I'm just sort of like, where are
Yeah.
these guys? I'd like to see them.
have you heard of the EA?
Yeah, how do I
The
spell that?
long,
So I'm
the
gonna look that
long
up.
EA.
Yeah. Okay. No, I haven't
Yeah,
heard of that.
the elongated skulls peoples.
Oh yeah, those people. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, many of them are African American looking.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like Sue's drawn a portrait. Sue Walker, she's
Yeah.
drawn a portrait of one of them, and
Mm-hmm.
they have dark skin,
Okay.
elongated skulls. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, definitely.
Okay, thanks.
I
On
think
my on
Krishna was black, and some people say
He was
Jesus
blue,
too.
no?
Well,
Yeah.
blue and black, he has
Yeah.
different connotation.
Mm-hmm.
There was a
Mm-hmm.
black one there, and some
Mm-hmm.
people this Christ too, but
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
Christianity was
Christ was
adopted by Europeans, they
yeah.
needed to appeal people.
Yeah, no. Christ didn't have blonde hair, blue eyes. No. Christ had like he was Aramaic and he had definitely darker skin. He was definitely Middle Eastern and of the darker version. Anyways, we'll get to the next question. Thank you, Kevin, and thank you, Jeff. Julie, did you want to ask a question? Thank you,
Hi.
Susan.
Yeah, wow, that's a different topic. Thanks so much, Jeff, for the talk, and it was
awesome.
just beautiful.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And Koba, I love your vision of the future, Star Trek all the way, right?
Mhm.
And, and that's just what the universe wants, is for us to explore and have fun, right? And to
Right.
keep that inner child always connected to that inner child within us.
Beautiful.
And
Yeah.
yeah, because like through our own conscience and absolute accountability for our actions and our lives,
Right.
we find our own way to love, right? And I just thought
Right.
that was so beautiful, Jeff, how you bring it back to love all the time. And
Beautiful.
I just wondered what your take on like the Vedic texts, the Mayans, the Sumerians. We've had contact with these higher beings for throughout all ancient civilizations, right? For thousands and thousands of years. So I think that in itself proves that they are benevolent.
Right.
We're all here for each other. Could be future versions of ourselves back to help us as well. Like so many different dimensions that these higher beings are existing in. But again, I get such a good feeling, and that it's for our own ascension and Earth's
Right.
ascension, right? Which we always come
Right.
back to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Totally.
So thank you.
Yeah, no worries,
Thank
Julie.
you,
Thank you so
Julie.
much. Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
Emerson, hi. You're in the dark. We can't see you.
It's okay.
Hi.
I can
Wait,
see
is
There
him.
you
this a
go.
little bit better? Can you guys see me a little bit more?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Okay.
good.
yeah.
So
Hi,
good.
See you.
nice to meet you all. But first, okay, please bear with me. I'm not really used to like talking about this stuff. So it's mainly just things that like I feel and just experience. Like almost like the best way I can kind of compare it to is like more like downloads of information. And so it's easier for me to, I'm gonna just try to explain it the best way I can, like articulate it for you guys. But I don't know, like it's just first of all, I want to say I really resonate with this presentation today and I really appreciate and I'm so happy. Like I know why I was supposed to come on here and be in this group for I like I found it on through ChatGPT actually. I was just kind of like talking. I have an addiction. I spend hours on there just testing and just thinking about stuff. And so that's how I was able to like kind of get this group and I know why I feel like I've attracted it because this is the stuff that like since a very young age I've always resonated with and understood. I even was experienced and brought through like Christianity at some point of my early childhood and just always had a sense of like I felt that there was such more, that it wasn't it just kind of felt like religion kind of felt like a something that was more of like a separation thing, like it, because there's so many different kinds of denominations, not entirely, but but Buddhism is definitely something that I've resonated most with because of the life principles. But I guess really more my question is like how have you or anyone that feels and thinks about this kind of stuff like what were kind of some of the patterns that you've noticed in that the synchronicities, and I just would love to hear so I could compare them to my own, and just I think it's wonderful to like hear those experiences from people that also it's very refreshing to feel like I have other people that like think the way that I do in a way. So I don't know, that's kind of
Beautiful.
like what I wanted to ask, I guess.
That was so awesome. That was
Yeah.
so good.
It's so
Express
great. Thank you so
yourself.
much,
Thank you.
Oh
Emerson.
my
Thank you.
God,
Yeah, that was
Joey.
nice. Absolutely. It was
Mhm.
very sweet. And like, I mean, you're, like I said before in the chat, you're welcome. You're amongst friends, you're amongst family. So feel free to open up and talk about anything that you want. But Jeff, did you want to comment on her, what she had to say?
Yeah. Well, beautiful. I'm happy it resonated with you, and it's really cool that how you found it.
Yeah,
I think
very.
that's neat. So I don't think I fully understood the question though, like the patterns. So you mean like in maybe my own growth or any one of us's growth, how the universe was reflecting itself in synchronicities? Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, and also just like really kind of any sort of like epiphanies or awakenings that people have had in general. Like like for me, I this was kind of something that I felt like I always knew, even through when I went through like traumatic experiences through my childhood and had a very, very interesting upbringing. I understand that like those things that we live through, the childhood traumas and stuff, like is part of like an old, like more so earthly identity, I feel like. And I just feel like at some point like we don't we're perfectly born as divine and perfectly as we are, there isn't
Right.
anything that we have to change about ourselves. So like I kind of feel like that's like an earthly perspective, so like
Yeah.
once you move, I feel like once like some people don't awake, I feel like we're kind of stuck on some kind of wheel, if that
Right.
makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, I just
Yeah.
feel things like on a collective energy, and like it's hard for me to sometimes even sleep at night because I'm always feeling like either dreams or just downloads of information, and like I just don't have anyone to like talk to about this
Right.
stuff. So I
I offer that you should learn to meditate.
yes,
Yeah.
meditation definitely too. I do.
Yeah.
I've had some very interesting experiences meditating as well. But yes, it's just like it's like just communicating with other
Yeah.
humans is like
Well,
so for me
yeah,
right now about
yeah.
this.
I think it's powerful, and I appreciate everything you're saying. And so one of the things you actually said that I can relate to too is that I listen, I'm hypersensitive to individuals,
Mm.
and I'm actually public with all my content, and then I can typically feel people, reading and
Yes,
stuff, and
even
I can feel people on the other end of a text or something, and before they text it, and so I'm
yes. Oh,
hypersensitive.
it's crazy.
Yeah, and meditation actually is powerful for this because what meditation is doing is it's learning how to control the mind on a subtle, sensitive level. It's no different than, we go to the gym to lift weights and then you develop a muscle. And the same thing with meditation. Your mind wanders, but then you're getting it used to the act of bringing it back to a point of focus. And what it does is when you have psychic things going on or and wild energy content going on, you actually can start getting better at the subtle experiences and say, whoa, maybe I'm doing that because it's hitting a trigger, or maybe it's
100%.
because something happened and then I've now latched on to a thought that I can't unravel. Or number three is
Mhm.
like I can just block that out and I can learn how to
Yes.
just organize my thoughts and create a block. And
Mhm.
meditation is so powerful at getting at the subtle experiences of our individual consciousness, and I find that to be one of the most powerful things. And a lot of people are looking for instant reward, and meditation
Mhm.
is not instant reward.
Right.
Meditation is a practice. That's why I call it a practice. It has to be something you do, and it takes time. And there was a mark, and I'm telling you, it was 6 years. I've been meditating for over 20, and it was 6 years where I went, I'm not the same guy who I used to be, and it took me a long time to get there. But it changed. It's like the way I frame it is the benefits are instantaneous right away. You feel peace, you feel good, but then you kind
Right.
of lose it, and you don't feel that. You feel like everything's normal again. And what it
For
is, it's a
sure.
slow incline that takes time, that takes years, and you just get better and better and better. And you get your visions or
Mhm.
something will come out through meditation. So meditation is number one. And yeah, and number two, I think I can relate to everything about like synchronicities and yeah, and I guess you can call it awakenings and that kind of stuff. And
Mhm.
I think I just hear you, you know, looking for validation. And I think the reality is that humans are struggling. We're in a
Mhm.
realm that we are. Listen, this is the Vedic philosophy, and I take it because it's real and I experience it to be real. We're all here on purpose, and
Right.
we put ourselves here to figure it out. And that's the challenge. And our soul, our higher self, the Paramatma, loves the challenge. So then we come here and we
Mhm.
love both. We love the sunsets, we love the friendships, we love the good food, and then we also, even though we don't think we love it, we love the dramas and we love figuring out ourselves out through it.
Definitely.
And I think the world is going through that on like a big grand collective scale. And it's more. It's people are figuring themselves out. The consciousness is real. Unified field is real.
Right.
And then when they don't know that, they're out there looking for it in all these external ways. And the best thing we can do is to learn to protect our energy and meditate
Definitely.
and find ways to protect our thoughts and our mind and our energy, because others will do a lot and make a lot of noise and create a lot of chaos figuring that stuff out, and we can know, hey, I know where I am in this, and I can
Right.
remove myself from hearing their chaos, and you can still watch the sunset while they're fighting. And that's the most
Exactly.
powerful place that we can be in, right?
No, for sure. Thank you so much. That's such a wonderful way of how you explained everything and articulated it. So I really appreciate that.
Beautiful.
Because that's really like that's how I feel. And like it's so nice to like hear, and meditation is definitely something that I was practicing a lot more consistently a bit ago, but like I've just kind of been going through different shifts and just kind of living through I don't know. I feel like everything I understand that like everything's kind of like I don't know, like, I know that we attract everything, I feel like, and I've had so many, like, little, almost instant manifestation moments or, like,
Mm,
synchronicities that have happened to me immediately or, like,
right.
within a couple of hours.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I know that that also, like, has a lot to do with the sensitivity, so I know that, like, you're saying with meditation as well, like, you think that that's gonna continue to, like, heighten those feelings as well, or the
Yeah,
patterns?
you can get more observant of them. So you
Sure.
can start recognizing maybe what created that, because it's so powerful that they happen. You have a synchronicity, or because technically what I see has happened is you visioned, you did something
Mhm.
on the inside that manifested itself on the outside, and it's so powerful when
Yes.
that happens. But the best way that we can master ourselves and our world is actually understanding what part of myself did that, and it's actually really fascinating to get there. And over time, the idea is that you can do that consciously.
No, yeah, that's kind of like if I'd ever had any more negative thoughts or something like that, I would just call the human in me. I've just kind of disassociated from it and just told myself that like I know myself. I know that if
Beautiful.
I do come into these kind of negative thoughts or vibrations, which isn't, which happens, it's human sometimes, like we can catch ourselves. And I just kind of like separate it. So like I never like have to feel like I resonate with it, but I don't know. Yeah, I feel like
Beautiful.
that's nice.
Well,
Great. Beautiful.
Emerson, we have a open mic night coming up on December 18th. So if you want to come and join us and talk more about what you're feeling, please
I
feel
would
free to
love
come and join
to.
us. Yeah.
Thank
So
you
just
so much.
yeah, and thank you, Jeff, for answering that question.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
No problem.
Beautiful.
Okay, great. So we'll move on to Joan. Hi, Joan. Did you have a question for Jeff?
Well, yes, I mainly have comments.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed the program last week and this one too. But I'm into this extraterrestrial stuff, and it really helped me a lot in understanding it more. And I ordered your book. I got it on Kindle, and I was
Thank you.
really, really impressed with it.
Beautiful.
Recommended it to my friends.
Beautiful, Joan. Thank you.
I really like when you say the experiencing the nature of the universe to be receptive to individual consciousness. And that helped me a lot in understanding the serendipity things that are happening all the time.
Right.
And the other thing that I wanted to say is that we as humans on this planet, we, how shall I say, I heard a channeler, she was channeling an extraterrestrial. And one of her questions was, what do you as extraterrestrials think of the human race? And she said, you're very primitive.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
I
about right.
mean, we better start thinking about what we think about,
Yeah.
when we talk about these extraterrestrials, they are so intelligent. And, we with our newly found AI and what have you, and now but we at the same time, we are talking again about eliminating the whole planet. I mean, there is something really kind of, I don't know. When are we going to learn to make peace and not smash all these bombs at each other? I mean, I mean, even animals don't do that.
Mm.
Yeah, so very true.
Yeah.
Said.
Jeff, did you have a comment on what she's saying?
Sounds like the alien said it best. Yeah.
That's why I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I mean it's not too far out of touch with what they said with me in the 10th contact event, that when I ran into the twins in northern Saskatchewan, and that's the premise of it, that the humans are, there's an evolution thing going on here, and and again, it's not about you or me, right? Because we can evolve individually, we can take on responsibility and evolve, but the society, right, and we kind of maybe don't know how to, we get confused, and there's millions of us, and technically billions of us, and that might be the challenge, is that we don't really know how to figure all that part out. And yeah, there's an evolutionary thing going on here, and I do agree with that. That just all is exactly what I'm hearing from my own contact events and from so many others, and you're just adding to the picture. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very true. So moving on, Julie, did you have another comment before we pass on to Lindsay?
Yes, so I just wanted to add on to what Emerson was saying, and the universe tries to communicate and connect with us all in all kinds of different ways through our higher selves. And when you're connecting with your higher self, you're tapping into that higher consciousness, which is providing so many awesome synchronicities and little paths for us to follow to find our highest path as well, to help elevate our vibration. And so when the psychic phenomenon is amazing. And Jeff, how you're talking about the NDEs, It's that veil between the physical and the metaphysical realm. It's so close, you know, the other side is so close to us. And spirit just wants us to know that we're all in this together, that our guides and our angels, our Buddhas and our Jesuses and our Allahs and our, you know, are all here to help us to find that ultimate bliss. Like, I love how you brought that up, Jeff, and the eight path, the royal path to I think you brought that up at one point.
The four yogas, or maybe the eightfold path of Patanjali.
The eightfold. I don't know if you brought that up, but
you're right. I did mention it. I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah.
And it's just there, like the Vedics. It's just everything is there in yoga. It brings us to our higher consciousness and helps us tap into those higher realms. And the universe is incredible. Think of how vast the universe is and how many star systems and life forms that are out there. Like, we can't even fathom this, you know, it's incredible.
Beautiful.
Perfect. Totally. Yeah, it is quite nice. It's very mind-boggling, but it's also humbling as well. So we can pass on to Lindsay. Lindsay, did you have a comment or question?
I do.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a question about Jesus. And so I was raised in, I'm from the deep South, from Mississippi in the US, and was raised in Nashville. Now I live in Ohio, so kind of a straight shot. But I was raised in Christianity, Southern Baptism specifically. So when my curiosity about the Vedas was sparked in like 7th grade, I was sort of chastised out of it. My mom was disturbed at how quickly I picked up on the information and how quickly I stirred it. Like, I did a project. I just came home and was like, I'm doing this project, and I did it.
Beautiful.
And she was like, where did you get this information from? And I was like, I read the encyclopedia, but I just got it, you know. My journey with meditation started. I've been meditating myself to sleep for about 6 years probably, but like meditating in the day with people. I found a group locally that does Sunday morning meditations together, group meditations.
Beautiful.
I've had some really powerful experiences on my own, synchronicities with people around me, myself trying to transmit things to them, and then hearing them saying the things that I've been, you know, I've had incredible experiences in that way.
Beautiful. I
had a really intense moment with Christianity for about 3 years in my early 20s, which I think is a common age for that to be happening. Got baptized. My whole family knew about it. It was very public, and I'm very much not of that faith anymore. But as I've come back to myself and away from the religion and the structure, and as I've gotten deeper into meditation and kind of grown like a passion for it, and a love for it in the way that I used to love worshiping at church. Like, the church was in Nashville. It had a great band. I get excited about it. And Jesus was the first, his message was the first taste I had of that reality. And I had it alone sitting at a table reading a book about Jesus. I think it was the all-seeing God knows this true state of every heart was the line that changed me. I couldn't walk, rocked me on the floor. I was by myself, you know, and I can't negate that I had that experience, but I was, the church that I belonged to was very wealthy, and it was the pastor, the guy that wrote God's Not Dead. It's just very icky as far as the money goes, and I just have a lot of trauma with it. But I understand that Jesus spent some time away that we Christians don't know about. And is that where he went? Is that where, in the time that's missing from the Bible that I grew up on, did he go to India? Did he experience these things and then bring it back again? Is that what happened?
Well, obviously I can't 100% say.
Right.
But I do know some things that not a lot of people know about. The first 4 lines of John are actually from a Vedic scripture. and John was there with Jesus, and I forget the four lines off the top of my head, but those are actually directly from a Vedic scripture, and that Vedic scripture was first, and we know that. So there's a weird connection there. Thy eye be single, thy body be full of light. Right, meditation.
Oh,
He's
wow.
he speaks like a guru. He speaks
Absolutely,
like
he
a guru.
does.
This is exactly my own guru. Actually, and because I have a guru, some of those lines are more obvious understood now because of this stuff.
Mhm.
And he was the one who showed me that those four lines from John were actually from a Vedic scripture, and they're
Wow.
word for word. So that's pretty weird. And then if you can't believe in him, which is the universe, then believe in me, which is exactly what Krishna
Mm,
is saying. Krishna is saying the exact same lines.
yes, yes.
So it's not unthinkable that Nazareth is a port city, that it would have the Bhagavad Gita,
Uh-huh.
that the Bhagavad Gita would come through, or any of the scriptures would come through, and then you have this, this kid or this teenager or whatever get interested and then go. And
Yes,
it was on the Silk Road. It was not unthinkable that
right.
something like that could happen.
Yes.
And then to come back. And there's another couple weird things. He clearly was Jewish, but a lot of people don't know this too, but as a rabbi, so there was a law in ancient Jewish religion that if you weren't trained to be a rabbi, but you were considered to be a prophet, so as long as you knew the Old Testament word for word. Well, Jesus knew the Old Testament. He actually has lines from his own mouth coming out, and he's saying Old Testament lines, so he knew the Old Testament word for word, and
Mm,
so he was considered a prophet. And that's why there's a whole weird thing about him. Was he a rabbi? He obviously wasn't a rabbi. He was a prophet. But why? Because he was a guru, really. And people were having weird experiences around him. And one of the other lines, too, John says, is exactly what happens with a guru. And it's around the Sea of Galilee. And I can't recall the line, but he said something. He read my heart, and I can't remember the lines. My guru went through this stuff with me at one point, and the bottom line is that's exactly what a guru does too. It's a signature guru thing to do, is to read your heart and to know your history or your truth better than you do in your own mind. And then
yeah,
someone, I think it's John, or I can't remember if it's Matthew, and they're having that experience, and so it's all guru stuff, and that's how I
yeah,
interpret it, that Jesus was a guru,
yeah.
and then there is a conspiracy that's over top of it, and the
That's what I've
conspiracy,
heard about. That's what I
yeah,
wanted to know. I've heard
and
about
I
the
don't.
conspiracy.
When I say conspiracy, I only mean to say, um, I mean, look at when all the scriptures were written. All four gospels are written when the Romans destroy the temple.
Mhm.
So Vespasian comes in and he takes out the temple of Jerusalem. Well, the Jews were using the temples as a space for to find God, and it was kind of confusing. Was God everywhere, or is God in the temple? And when they destroyed the temple, all of a sudden you have this rush of scriptures out to replace it. And there was arguments at the time. We have some documentation. Was he Jewish, or was it for all Gentiles? Was it for Greeks as well? And the scriptures are written in a way that is clearly for Greeks because it's a Greek style.
Mm,
So it's a really interesting game that went on where you can kind of see them saying the Jewish religion is dead. Make him the new Messiah. And was he really born in a pasture? I don't think so. Was he really
right.
born of a virgin? Probably not. There's a whole bunch of
Mhm.
stuff that's probably not. But they
But we
needed
have the
it.
whole nativity and with
Yeah,
the what do
but
you
they
need?
needed that. Yeah,
Yeah,
but why is it only
absolutely.
in two gospels and not the other two, right?
They
If he
still
was
need it
really
in Mississippi. Yeah.
yeah, they needed that lineage to make the connection that he was a Messiah, the old Messiah from
Mhm.
the Old Testament. They needed
Yes.
that connection to be made.
Yes.
So then it's a conspiracy to replace the old Jewish religion with this new
Mhm.
guy who just came out
Mhm.
because he's a
Mhm.
savior. And it matched because he was a real guru. So they wanted to worship him, right? So
Mhm.
it's a weird conspiracy to replace the Jewish religion, which got destroyed, but didn't really get destroyed. But at the time, it looked like it was going to be. And so I have a whole bunch of theories there, but I'm a historian and I love all this stuff. So
Yes,
yeah.
yes. I studied history as well, so I'm constantly trying to like match up and it's like Tetrising in new information as I receive it in the timeline. And yes, very
The
interesting.
two books. So I had that meditation book in here, Ancient Secrets of Success
I
for
wrote that
Today's
down.
World. Yeah, get that book because there's
Mm,
lines of Jesus in there as a guru. It's
okay.
yeah, it's the translation from the lineage that I belong to, of it's mixed with everything, Jesus, but also Vedic stuff is in there. So it's a mixture of stuff, but it's
Okay.
using Jesus' lines, and it shows you Jesus knew visioning, and it's true. He did. He understood visioning. He understood meditation. He understood these things. And then the other is Jesus interrupted, and it's actually written by an ex-Vatican guy, gone public to basically tell the world that the Vaticans know so much more than they're sharing, and so it's a little
It's
bit more on
not
the
fair.
yeah, it's to
not
keep
fair.
the religion in one state is what it is, right? Yeah, it's kind of nutty, but
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah,
you so
Lindsay, you
much.
got
Thanks
it.
so
Yeah.
much, Lindsay. Thank
Clearly,
you.
I'm passionate about that. So.
Yeah.
Before you leave the subject, I just wanted to ask quickly, were you referencing in John 1 in the beginning was the Word and the Word was
That's
with
it.
God?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Yep.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, in the word was, yeah,
I'm,
that's right. Yeah.
I could say much. That's okay. Go ahead. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lindsay, and thank you so much for sharing with us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you joined the group. Thank you.